we found with each other that we kind of tuned into the other's work. You know, if you have a project going, you've been thinking about it for a while, and if you need help gluing or something like that, it's so nice to have someone who stops and gets their mind involved in your work.
And all of a sudden you have one brain with four hands.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Once again, we're in Marin County, just north of San Francisco in Northern California, and today we're heading back to a neighboring Sonoma County for a very special video. We're going to visit some family friends of mine, a couple people I haven't seen since I was a kid, and they are masters of an incredible craft. They are instrument makers. They make cellos, they make violins, they restore instruments, they make replicas of old, beautiful instruments. And my mom is a musician. She's a cellist, and they made one of her cellos and have been friends with her since before I was born. That's how we know them. So I thought it would be an incredible opportunity to go over there and learn about their work, see them again, and feature them in a video. They are the best at what they do, and probably two of the best instrument makers maybe in the world. So this will be a really special video where we get to learn about this rare craft.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's called a Sim, and it's a Taiwanese bike, but they used to make Hondas like in the 70s.
At first I thought it was a Honda.
Yeah, so it looks like the old Hondas because they basically just kept making them on their own after they split with Honda.
It's like 125 or something?
150.
150?
Yeah.
That's cool. This is your first bike?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It's good to learn on.
It's a good starter bike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited to see the work they do, and I'm really grateful that they're willing to have me over and show me around and share this work with you guys. Wow. Fog over the reservoir. Look, you can, oh, that's cool. You can see the steam coming up off the water. And we're in Sonoma County. We are close now.
I applied to the violin making school.
There is a school in Germany.
Yeah,
in
and I
Wittenberg.
attended that violin making school. I graduated. Then I got a job offer from a German, Hans Weisser, in Los Angeles.
Best shop.
You don't think twice.
Best shop, probably.
No matter how young you are.
Certainly one of the best shops in the world
At the time for
at the
restoration.
time, especially for restoration.
That was a dream come true.
Yeah.
No.
So Sigrun started at Weisser in 76.
76, yeah.
I started in 77, so I met her there. She was just the person well, first she's beautiful. So of course I wanted her help, but also we found with each other that we kind of tuned into the other's work. You know, if you have a project going, you've been thinking about it for a while, and if you need help gluing or something like that, it's so nice to have someone who stops and gets their mind involved in your work as to what you may need.
Lend the hands.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you have one brain with 4 hands.
Yeah. But in the meantime, then we do an awful lot of making. That's mostly what we do. We do some restoration.
If you work on gorgeous instruments, great name instruments, and you have them open, you can truly kind of study their inside, and you get details, even down to the tools they used, the shape of tools, because they leave sometimes footprints, and that's your way to study with Steiner or with Amati or with having those instruments in your hands, and then build one alongside so you can truly kind of compare and train your eyes to see.
This is what Stradivarius forms would have looked like. Which is a thin piece of wood with an internal shape, excuse me. And these blocks get glued on. And then you can bend a rib. I'll show you ribs in a couple of seconds. And then this gets glued into just at these points of the block. The rest of the ribs get glued around. So now these blocks are attached to the form. The ribs are not, but the ribs are attached to the blocks. So eventually we can loosen the blocks. This is just temporarily glued, so we can loosen those blocks from the form, take the ribs off, and repeat on this form. But what happens then, once you have this, you cut this and then open it up. So this is spruce, by the way. This is Italian spruce, and it just sounds fantastic. It works so quickly. But so this would be, we have a plane that we run down this side and run down that side and glue that together so that there is a flat surface here. Here's a joined top now. The center joint is there. This is now a flat piece of wood. This is angled up and down, but that's going to be the outside arching of this particular top. I'll do it on this side. This is still, you can see with an angle across here, you can still see how very rough this is. And now this is a little bit hollow on the inside, but it's a long way from being done. And we carve this with these little planes. So you can see that I could slowly work my way around this thing over and over and slowly start creating this arching that is should be very beautiful, part of what we as violin makers like. And then the next thing that we're going to be doing here, we have created this little sandwich here of wood. This came off of that. So now I've got a skinny piece of wood, and this will be introduced into that channel. So I have that knife that's in there. Okay. Okay, so this little chisel then will go down and make that groove. And then this is the purfling. That will go down in that slot. It'll be a little deeper than that, and it'll come up. It'll miter into these corners. So this will get bent. Eventually, it looks like that. So this was put in the same way with the miters in here. This also edge started square like here, but again we put a scusce, the Italians call it, this gorge here, and then we roll the whole edge over and around. Yeah, there you go. Okay, okay, yeah. This would have come out of that, something like that, right? So when we're carving this, and we frequently see carving, these old signs of carving, you can see I mean, I'll rake a light across there, and you can see that it's anything but perfect across there. But I can make it better by just coming to that line right there. I'll just go a little deeper here. It doesn't make too much difference. So this gets carved down to there. That gets, those get taken out. So now you can see that those are pretty robust. That's pretty robust carving in there. Some makers would leave that. They would say, that's done, it's fine, it's a scroll, it's on there, we're going to put pegs in it and no one's going to look at it. But then after that comes a scraper. And I'm leaving this little ridge around here and this little flat spot here. Eventually, what happens is I'll put a chamfer across from that line to that line, and this will be angled off.
And it's a nice sharp scraper when it kind of peels the wood.
And I don't want to, because the maker we're copying here left quite a few tool marks up the back, we're going to leave these long tool marks that go up there, and that you know, I want it to look a little bit like a pie shell rather than something absolutely perfect.
Those are dust balls.
Oh, really?
Out of instruments.
No way, really?
Yeah. So in instruments,
They roll around.
they roll around and collect dirt. But these are all dust balls from famous instruments. So Paul By, you know, a copper. Yeah, you know, whenever J.B. Guadagnini was a real good one, you know, Tononi, you know, yeah, so, you know, you have to have a little bit of fun.
We're forever adding two and two together to get some answers. If we're looking and say, wait a minute, that's the way the blocks are on that, that's not the way the Italians would have done it. That's the way the people from Bohemia would bend a rib structure. There was a very, very talented woman violin maker that we've known for years, and she came up to me and she said, "Why do you care?" And I didn't have a good answer for her, but it really made me laugh. We just do. If you're paying attention, you just care, you know. It's tradition, and
yeah,
and it's 500 years old. They've been making violins.
You
for
want to
500
compare
years,
what
or
you do
almost.
nowadays to what did he do?
Yeah.
Because we stand on each other's shoulders.
Why do you care? We just do.
What an absolute privilege to be able to go and see Joe and Sigrun and learn about their work and their craft. I just want to say thank you to Joe and Sigrun one more time for having me and for allowing us to come into their home like that in their studio and see what they do and learn about it. So thank you to Joe and Sigrun so much for being a part of this, and so happy I get to share this episode with people. Other than that, thanks for watching. More adventures to come. Thanks so much.